The lecture that is titled on your programs is one that I decided actually on the way here I really shouldn't give. So instead I put the outline for it on a stand back there. I hope you all picked it up. It's a fairly detailed outline, so actually you can get a fair amount of that lecture without my giving it. But that's a lecture that presupposes a bit more background than what I think probably many of you have in this field. So I changed my mind and decided to give a lecture called Godly Dominion versus Environmentalism, Reducing Poverty, Restoring Liberty, and Renewing Human Dignity by Reclaiming the Blessings of Genesis 1:28. And we'll get into that in a moment. First, I just want to call your attention to a few other things. Again, as I said, there are some handouts on those music stands by the back door. I want to be sure that you all go out of here with some free stuff from me. We've got a number of different brochures on our table, and just to familiarize you with what is in them, one of them is called the Cornwall Declaration on Environmental Stewardship. This was hammered out by about 35 scholars on biblical environmental ethics, who included scientists and economists as well as other experts as well. Back in 1999, this really became our founding document for the Cornwall Alliance. This document is more recent. It's called The Biblical Perspective on Environmental Stewardship, Subduing and Ruling the Earth to the Glory of God and the Benefit of Our Neighbors. And it gives you 30 affirmations and denials. Some of you might be familiar with the Chicago Statement on Biblical Inerrancy or the Chicago Statement on Biblical Hermeneutics, other statements that use this format. We affirm this, we deny this that is contrary to it, right? Francis Schaeffer very famously said, we have entered a time when it's not enough to say what you do believe. You also have to say what you don't believe, because too many people are so relativistic and have learned so little logic that they think that you can believe opposite things at the same time. You really can't. We also have out there a handout called Protect the Poor, 10 Reasons to Oppose Harmful Climate Change Policies. That's a declaration that we put out last September, undergirded by a very substantial technical paper by a climatologist and an environmental economist. And this is something that we really hope will, over time, make a major impact on policymakers around the United States and the world. One other handout that we have, and I really want to call your attention to this, is an open letter to Pope Francis on climate change. Please don't be alarmed by the fact that it starts off, Your Holiness. I'm not Catholic. I have no sympathy whatsoever for the Roman Catholic soteriology and a number of other things about the Roman Catholic Church. I don't think that the Pope is the Vicar of Christ on earth. That's protocol, that title. It's like saying, you know, Your Excellency to an emperor or something like that. It's just simple protocol, and if we didn't use something like that, we would actually alienate. If we want to be heard, we need to use protocol. But this letter, and it was signed, we made it public on Monday, the same day that we held a press conference in Rome, has been signed initially by about 80 major scholars in the field. We're talking world-class climate scientists and physicists and chemists and the like, as well as world-class environmental and developmental economists and theologians and ethicists and the like. What this essentially says is that human influence on global average temperature is quite small, certainly not dangerous, and that the cost of attempting to reduce that influence, whereas it would make no significant difference in global temperature over time, would have an extremely harmful effect on the world's poor.